First, I have a couple questions for you. Who do you think would own this?
Someone who lives in Colorado.
Boulder.
Somebody who lives in Colorado.
Okay. What about someone with this bumper sticker on their car?
Someone who has a bad taste in food.
And what about someone with this one?
Oh, that's me.
Okay. Can you see how you can tell something about all those people even though you've never met them and you don't even really know if they exist?
Yeah.
This is because people change things. They change things to show other people who they are, and it happens all around us, and most of us don't notice. This has become increasingly relevant recently because of a rise in consumerism. As more people buy more of the same things, everyone has stuff that looks the same. Like this laptop, for example. People need to change them to look like something like that to show other people like what they like and just different things about themselves other than the fact that they just have a boring black laptop. Or like that. Okay. This was easier to do in the past because with things like cars, for example, people would go to coach builders and get custom shells built for their cars, like these three. Like with cars, you used to just buy the frame, and then you would have to take it to a special company that would make the design of the car to look exactly how you wanted them to make it, and it would fit you perfectly. People do this because they don't want to fit into a mold. This is because people like being unique, and they want to be able to attract people that share similar interests to them. If someone changes their water bottle with like a science-y sticker, they might attract more people who are interested in science and make new friends that way. If they have something with like a Spider-Man sticker on it, they might find someone else who likes Spider-Man. Or if they have a car that looks like this, they might find someone else who likes cars. I'm one of those people. I really like cars, so I wanted to learn about the people who modify cars and why they do it. In my research, I came across a study about how people at ages as young as 2 become attached to objects just because they own them. We're not really sure why this happens, but people do it because they just value their own items over other people's because they see them as extensions of themselves. They like to express themselves and be unique and attract friends, like I said. And then with the cars, I looked into different ways people modify cars. And I came across these 3 pictures. And can you see how they're all pretty different? Yeah? Okay. Would you believe me if I told you they all started out looking like this white one? Well, they did. This is because people changed their cars to fit in their specific wants and needs. Like, for example, this one is just stock, so that's just whatever you get. It's like a blank slate. That one up there is for track driving because it's lowered and it would have better handling on the track or on the road. And then this one is more for off-road because you can see it's been lifted and added a bunch of reinforcement on the front. People change modify their cars for their different wants and needs just because it helps them with their lives better. Like you could assume someone with that might like going off-road every now and then for their hobbies, like mountain biking, for example. You could also tell stuff about people from just what their normal car looks like. If someone has a car like this, you could probably make a safe guess that they like the outdoors or driving off-road to go hiking or anything like that. And if someone has a car like this, you could probably safely assume that they like comfort and style and going fast. Our cars say a lot about us, even though we don't really notice it ever, really. It just happens all the time, just in the backs of our minds. I noticed between different brands, there are some differences in the mods that happen, but overall they're all about the same thing and all for the general same purpose. For example, like changing your wheels is a very common mod. It could change how your car looks drastically. Like the bottom car looks quite different than the first one. There's different kinds of wheels that go on like different brands of cars. Like on a Mustang, you may be more likely to find something like those, and on like a Subaru, you'd be more likely to find something like that. They're all for the same purpose, though, to change the looks of your car and make it handle better. Even inside the same brand, there's different styles of mods. Like this one has a Subaru that's been converted to a full-on race car for the track. This is like a really good track car, okay? And then this one is a good rally car, which is basically track but on a dirt road. So it's a lot more punishing on the car, so it needs to be higher up, stronger suspension and wheels and everything. This causes a slight divide in the car communities of the brands because they have slightly different mods suited for different things, so they can't exactly like all go to a track together because they have different cars. But they all still come together at the end of the day because they love cars, and that's what they love to spend their time with. These people, I went to a car meet, and I met some people who were just really in love with cars. Like, every paycheck they had, all the extra money they had was going into their cars, which I thought was really cool because it's like, if you really care about something, that you're willing to sacrifice some other luxuries in life just so you can have, like, the nicest car you can. Common mods are lowering your car and adding wheels because they're relatively inexpensive compared to other mods, and they can change your car a lot. For example, this one, you could see how it had a pretty big gap between the wheels of the car, and then afterwards it's almost touching, and the wheels, and it looks completely different, which a lot of people like because it helps them stand out, which is what a lot of car enthusiasts want in general, just because they want to be different than your average person with the same car as them. I thought this was a really unique hobby that was really interesting, and I liked how I found out that people express themselves through their cars even if they don't necessarily notice it. I thought it was really interesting that, like, even if we're not consciously thinking about something, we still do these things, like, subliminally that show others things about us. And even with that, like, when I meet someone, if I see them in their car, I tend to make some judgments that I've noticed in, like, the back of my mind, like, that go with different car stereotypes, which I've been noticing a lot recently since I've started this project. And I thought that's really interesting, how we could tell so much about someone from something seemingly simple like a car. Yeah, thank you.